Thank you. Thank you for having me here. Unlike Heather, I'll take the pump up of my resume just to make me feel good before I talk in front of you all. I'm really excited to be here. I'm really excited to be in this room to see so many people who, whilst you might be here for your job, I don't think that you end up working in this sector unless you have a true passion for it. So it's nice to be around you today. And thank you for having me. Thank you to the DonDunstanFoundation for inviting me to speak about Homes for Homes, which we think is part of the solution to helping to end homelessness. There's not one solution that will do this, as many speakers have spoken about, but we think Homes for Homes can definitely be part of that solution. So where did it come from? Where did Homes for Homes come from? So in the late 2000s, a group of community leaders, including the Big Issues CEO, identified a mechanism applied by a large developer to raise recurring funding from the sale and resale of its own properties. This mechanism was called a lien, and it is used in the United States by property developer Lennar. Beyond the funds raised, the initiative provided a way for the community to engage with and be part of the solution to the shortage of social and affordable housing. Inspired, the Big Issue set about tailoring the initiative to allow the entire community to link arms on scale. So not just one property developer, but all of us. Homes for Homes is a result of more than 6 years of development, planning, consultation and independent reviews to create a tailored solution that we think is made for Australia. I'll share a short video with you that will explain it.
Clearly we don't do enough for homeless people. I think we don't do enough the right sort of things. It's not just about giving people blankets and food and stuff. It's about helping them actually get a foot up and transitioning back into life.
We have not been able to increase our housing stock since about 2011 because there just hasn't been any government funding from the state. The demand is so high and the supply just cannot meet it.
The gap is increasing, so we're leaving this generation and the next generation an awful set of circumstances. There just won't be enough houses at the right price for all Australians.
So Homes for Homes is a very exciting initiative, a new and innovative way of getting some funding that will actually allow community housing organisations like ours to get more supply happening for the increased demand is just fantastic.
It's a way for the industry to participate and to support effectively a pledge to get around cracking the issue with affordable housing.
What we want to achieve at the end of the day is an income stream that everyone can voluntarily invest in if they choose to.
Essentially, homeowners commit when they sell a home, when they receive, in our case, a lot of money for selling a home, just this tiny proportion, 0.1% of the sale proceeds, to be given to the Homes for Homes Fund.
Lennar is viewed as a very socially conscious company in many different ways, and this is an aspect where people see it and an innovative funding solution to a problem that most people don't know exists or not to the magnitude. This is a program that works. We've never lost a sale as a result of somebody not wanting to participate.
From here on and into the future, all our residential projects are intrinsically linked to the Homes for Homes concept. So that means every apartment that we sell will have the permissive caveat on it. It's a really sustainable way of trusted people coming together to truly help homelessness.
All I can say is to get on board. The more of us that get on board, the more we'll make this a normal part of our community life, so that when we buy and sell homes at that critical time, we think of those less fortunate than ourselves who don't actually have a roof over our head, and we will make this contribution through the Homes for Homes mechanism.
That at no cost and no risk, you can start to end homelessness. It's a challenge, it's different, it can be done.
So Homes for Homes is an independent, proven and scalable model that allows the entire property and finance market to link arms with the community on scale to raise new funding via tax-deductible donations on property transactions, to use these funds to increase the supply of social and affordable housing, whilst complementing existing activity, creating generational change and strengthening our communities. To date, our focus for registering properties has been working with property developers. We've signed up 7 developers that I can speak about publicly. They are Assemble, Capital Airport Group, Grocon, Habitat for Humanity Victoria, Mirvac, and in South Australia, Junction Australia and Quattro. In addition to this, we continue to have discussions with a further 20 potential wholesale participants, with a combined pipeline understood to exceed 225,000 properties and a potential donation pipeline of over $50 million. That's $50 million worth of new money that will come into the sector. The idea of Homes for Homes is to generate a new funding stream that the whole community can contribute to. Property owners register their homes with Homes for Homes by including a simple legal mechanism on their property title. In South Australia, this is a permissive caveat. When the owner sells their property, the legal mechanism is a reminder that a voluntary tax-deductible donation to Homes for Homes, equivalent of 0.1% of the sale price, can be made. The property remains registered with Homes for Homes, which gives future owners of that property the ability to make the same donation. So the caveat stays with the property title as it moves between owners. Homes for Homes is voluntary, 100% voluntary. It's not a mandatory tax, it's not a mandatory requirement. Property owners can choose to withdraw their property from Homes for Homes at any time. But why would you, is my question. Our Homes for Homes receives the donation, and once a sufficient pool of donations is generated, Homes for Homes undertakes a competitive tender process, which is guided by independent housing advisory groups. The Homes for Homes funding is then provided to community housing providers and housing providers to deliver and manage the housing projects. Homes for Homes is not a builder or a housing provider. We're not raising money for ourselves, and we're not raising money for the big issue. Our role is to generate the new funding stream that increases the supply of social and affordable housing. In January this year, we announced the start of our initial funding round in Victoria and the ACT. Developers Grocon and Capital Airport Group, as well as some smaller builders and some individual homeowners, had made significant donations to Homes for Homes to allow $300,000 worth of funding to be available in Victoria and $200,000 available in ACT. It's important to note that money that is raised in a state stays in a state. So the more the South Australian community can link arms, the more money that will be raised and invested into South Australia. Whilst we understand that the amount of money is quite small, it was an initial funding round, and we hoped that this would be the start of a much bigger pipeline of money that we will disperse. We did still receive 11 applications in Victoria and 3 in the ACT, and they included things such as tiny homes, the redevelopment of uninhabitable dwellings, a spot purchase of an apartment, construction of a house that provides permanent, purpose-built social housing for people with a disability, and the creation of a group home which offers affordable accommodation for 5 people. The funds will be dispersed against the core principles on the slide. However, a driving factor of the funds disbursement is an open and flexible approach. Applicants are asked to present proposals that at best address housing issues in their area, based on their knowledge and their expertise. It's not the role of Homes for Homes to tell housing providers what they should spend money on and where the greatest need is. Rather, we see providers as the experts, and we need to be told where that money is best spent. Underpinning Homes for Homes and the funds disbursement process is a robust governance. Each state and territory has its own housing advisory group. The groups assess proposals to increase the supply of social and affordable housing. The housing advisory groups are experienced individuals with expertise in key industry sectors, including social service, property, finance, government, and community housing. The groups are progressively formed as sufficient funds are raised in each state or territory. We're now just wrapping up our Victorian and ACT housing advisory group meetings as part of that initial funding round. The Housing Advisory Group makes a recommendation to the Independent Investment Advisory Group, whose role it is to advise the board on guidelines for investment of these funds, the strategies to maximise the benefits of the funds to increase the supply of social and affordable housing. The final decision for the funds disbursement as we track through that governance process is the Homes for Homes board. And excitingly, we're looking forward to releasing the $500,000 worth of funding this calendar year. And this is about 5 years ahead of schedule, which is another nice success for the Homes for Homes initiative. Because there was those upfront donations made by those property developers, it is that 5 years ahead of schedule, because you would assume that as houses turn over, that's the first time that the donation is made. So we wouldn't have expected to be able to do this for another 7 or so years. In 2014, an independent economic assessment of Homes for Homes undertaken by NAB projected that Homes for Homes could raise more than $1.8 billion over 30 years. That's $1.8 billion of new funding. This projection can be realised due to a key feature of Homes for Homes, which is its independence. The funding Homes for Homes raises is available to the entire sector to benefit all Australians via state-specific tenders. It's invested as a new source of funding. Homes for Homes is not a builder of social and affordable housing. Individuals and developers who choose to support and participate in Homes for Homes are in fact supporting the entire social and affordable housing sector. The generation of the fund also relies on behavioural change from individuals. So you as an individual homeowner are asked to make a 0.1% donation on the sale price of your house. Most of us probably are not likely to make a $500 one-off donation to a particular charity. Perhaps you're more likely to sponsor a friend's fun run or participate in workplace giving. So it's fundamentally changing the way that we as Australians and as homeowners, if we're lucky enough, can think about making donations. But it's about us all coming together, being part of, I guess, the greatest crowdsourced funding kind of campaign ever seen. As I indicated earlier, we have a number of developers we're working with to generate a property pipeline. And to date, our focus has been asking those developers to sign up the properties that they're building so that the Homes for Homes caveat is attached to that property title. We don't ask them to make an upfront donation, that's not the ask, because we'd rather see the developers continue to sign on Homes for Homes caveats as they build new projects. They can, of course, make a donation and we would never say no. For example, in Canberra, all the house and land packages of Denman Prospect, which is a Capital Airport Group project, are sold with the Homes for Home mechanism attached. And I'll show a quick video that kind of explains it.
Well, homelessness is a chronic problem for Australia and for all societies. It's a problem that needs money to solve it, and what we need is a device that can deliver that and deliver the pool of money.
Coming on board with Homes for Homes is encouraging the community to take care of those less advantaged people that are in our society.
We're very pleased that the funds raised from Homes for Homes in Canberra are put to work in this community, and I think all of the people that are buying our houses see that as an absolute plus, that they're contributing to their problem in their city.
I appreciate, being fortunate enough to have my own place and to be able to contribute even in a small part towards those causes that help or assist people with their lives as well.
People, I think, are pleasantly surprised when they hear about it. And the reality is, when you look at the investment of not only purchasing a new block of land here, it's such a small contribution, but a good one. It's only been a positive feedback.
We liked the idea of the community feel that Denman Prospect initiated.
The caveat is on the title, and then the people go and build their home, and it's not until they sell their home that anything happens with Homes for Homes. I think it's really good to bring to their attention that there are people out there without a roof over their head right at the time when they're thinking pretty seriously about the roof over theirs.
It's an appropriate thing to embrace. It's a level of contribution that is meaningful but doesn't upset the business equation.
Certainly doesn't cost us any sales, and it's a really positive thing.
It's going to end up being a fantastic initiative that will give real results. If there are any developers out there, come along for the ride with this initiative, and the more people that do it, the more people that are going to be able to be helped.
So we also work with a number of other sectors who influence or have the ability to influence the take-up of Homes for Homes. So for example, we're working with the banking and finance sector so that when they see a Homes for Homes caveat attached to a person's property title, it's not seen as an impediment to approving someone's mortgage. Turns out banks don't like caveats, it's a bit of a dirty word, so it's part of our job to make sure that they're educated. This is a really good caveat. It's not an alert, it's actually a really positive thing. We're also working with this sector, so in the future I would like to see people walk into a bank branch to apply for a mortgage, and as part of that process they're asked, did you want to sign up to Homes for Homes now as well? It's generational change. It's like seatbelts and recycling. It's going to take time, but we need to put the work in now. We're also working with government to look at the fees associated with lodging a caveat on a property title, to waive these fees wherever appropriate and possible. And residential property sales is just the tip of the iceberg. Other opportunities currently being explored with Corporate Australia is applying Homes for Homes to commercial property leases, and this would speed up the rate at which Homes for Homes would receive funds and therefore subsequently be able to speed up the rate at which we disperse those funds to the community housing sector. So as you can see, there are many groups and organisations involved in Homes for Homes, and each individual and organisation has their own role to play in what we see as a whole of community response to ending homelessness in Australia. I look forward to answering any questions in the session after this at the roundtable things, but thank you very much for listening. Thank you.